let's talk about when you doubt yourself. Statistically, you're going to doubt yourself a lot. Now, 85% of people experience self-doubt, while everyone expresses about 6 moments of self-doubt each day. I don't know about you, but this is actually a little bit frightening. Now, what's even interesting is that smart people or even intelligent people experience self-doubt the most. Now, the question that may be ringing in your mind is, if they are so intelligent, why do they doubt themselves the most? Think about it this way. Let's say two people want to start a business, person A and person B. But person A knows that 98% of businesses fail, while person B has no idea of this particular fact. Now, with this small change in detail, who do you think is likely to actually go ahead to start this business? My answer is that person B, because person B has no conception of the great odds that he stands against. But the supposed smart person sees a hindrance because 98% is very huge and it's a big odd for anyone to consider. But my argument here is that a truly intelligent person will be able to figure out what that 2% of businesses are actually doing right and be able to build their business based on it. So the question that may be in your mind is, why do we doubt ourselves? Because self-doubt has actually killed more dreams than you'd actually be able to conceptualize. But your dreams don't have to be sacrificial lambs for something that has a remedy. Instead of being paralyzed by self-doubt, we can actually use self-doubt to be able to build confidence, achieve what we want to do without second-guessing every move that we make. The key focus here is self-esteem hacking. And you can actually achieve this through building value systems, habits that reinforce personal honesty, and also building integrity. In this video, I will take you through why self-doubt happens and how to transform it into confidence by aligning your values and your thoughts with also your daily habits. Now, why do we doubt ourselves? This is a very big question, but in essence, the role of internal conflict is actually very big in this regard. The deep end of self-doubt is when there's a gap between who we are and who we actually aspire to be. Because if you think about it, this gap could be out of genuine state of being behind in life. But in my experience, that's rarely the case because being behind in life is a ruse created by self-doubt to keep you trapped in the cycle of self-doubt. Now, the true culprit here is actually comparison, and it happens in three forms. If you consider it, overestimating others' ability while underestimating your own can hinder you and make you doubt yourself. Also, the envy of others can create self-doubt. Now, thirdly, a mind that overthinks is definitely going to doubt itself. The gap is amplified by external comparisons and unmet expectations. And for many, this is the actual culprit. The average person spending about 2.5 hours on social media a day, constantly exposing themselves to all the amazing things that others are doing. It's no surprise that we end up comparing ourselves to people and doubting ourselves, and it affects our self-esteem. Now, part of the system I propose is to limit your social media use, but that's not the one-size-fits-all solution. And doubt essentially signals a lack of alignment between our actions and our values. The source of confidence is good self-esteem and integrity with yourself and also with others. This sounds like something that's a bit complex and woo-woo out there, but I mean, it isn't really that complex because I'm going to break it down for you. It's all about saying what you want to do and simply doing it. Some people even define success by this simple formula. Now, I believe you don't need further validation for your actions, thoughts, and even your beliefs more than yourself, right? If you are seeking external validation, most likely don't have true confidence because true confidence doesn't come from external validation, but rather your own positive self-image. The more you are able to validate your being as a whole, what you believe, you think, you do, the more you are able to feel confident about yourself and casting out all forms of doubt and reducing friction between the conception of an idea and acting on it. Now, if you want to be successful or to do things that you really want to do, you want to be able to reduce the friction between conception of an idea and actually executing it. Once you get an idea, the next thing you should do is to get it out there immediately and to give it a life of its own. Now, it may survive or it may die. Remember, 98% versus 2%. But what really matters here is that Even if it fails, you would have learned something, you move on, and you are both experienced. This constant bout of action will actually create some momentum that is built from feedback, which you cannot really get if you are always in your mind. Self esteem is built by living in alignment with your values and maintaining personal integrity. And by being in action constantly, you actually have little time to look out the window and to compare with others. Maybe you're so busy you don't have time to go into social media because you have a roadmap of your life, you are working towards it. Now, when you doubt yourself, it's often because you are so unsure of your actions and if they reflect your values. To get clear about your values, in most cases, you are just comparing yourself to people you don't even want to be like in life. Mostly what you think you know about people, you don't really know. They have completely different values, the lifestyle, and the goals from you. So why do you try to copy them? Why do you compare yourself to them? And you continue to torture yourself with comparison that creates so much internal conflict that you cannot even wake up on some days to get anything done. Like that's absolutely insane. Now, here's how comparison fuels self-doubt. Let's get deeper into this. I want you to take I want you to take a notebook right now. I want you to write down your ideal life, your health, your financial status, your relationships, how all of these should look like. Now, comparing these to those who seem ahead of you, you realize that your ideals are actually different from them. And this is something that most people don't actually sit down to do. We just want to be like others. Now, some of these people may align with you in what they want, especially on the external and material things, but these rarely align 100%. So, comparing your progress to others makes you lose focus on your own values, your own goal, the things that really matter to you. Losing valuable time and wallowing in self pity for absolutely nothing is actually unproductive, if you ask me. Now, think about it this way: other success can challenge your self worth if you measure yourself by external standards rather than your own internal alignment with what you want to do, your values, and all of those good stuff I've already mentioned. Now, let's look at the three-part remedy to this whole thing, right? Let's get self doubt out of it because we've really looked into what it means, what it does. Now, the first thing you want to do is to define your value system. Identify what truly matters to you, especially your core values. This could be honesty, discipline, creativity, kindness, or even resilience. There are many more, but the more you believe in these values, the more you should push yourself to adhere to them, right? If you believe hard work is the way to achieve incredible success, yet hide behind procrastination and excuses to do nothing each and every day, you'd actually be shooting yourself esteem down. And we don't want to do that because once you start doing that, your self doubt even becomes worse. The next thing is to write down your values and define what living them out looks like in a daily life. If honesty is a value, commit to speaking truthfully to yourself first and foremost, and then others. Even in difficult situations, no matter what, no half truths, no white lies, just plain old truth, no in betweens. Now, the second step here is to align your actions with your values. This is the crux of it all, in my opinion, because if there's no alignment, it's not going to work. If you take anything from this video, it should be that confidence grows when your actions consistently reflect your values. Build habits that reinforce alignment. If discipline is a value, set a daily routine and stick to it. If kindness is a value, make it a habit to express gratitude to others. Every time you act in line with these values, you are actually reinforcing your self image. And remember, your self image plays a very critical role in how you see yourself and how you process things to be able to build that confidence. Step three is to practice personal honesty. You cannot really go far without honesty. You know whenever you're lying and you don't need anyone to tell you. People will recommend accountability partners who will hold you down. But I think if you are really honest with yourself, you can stay accountable. You can keep yourself accountable. I'm not saying you don't need others, but when you're honest, you can actually do it most of the time. So you start to realize that self-doubt stems from avoiding the truths about yourself. And you are the only one who actually knows all of this truth. You may have an accountability partner, but chances are that you are not telling them everything. In most applications, you are told to get an accountability partner, but on personal growth, no accountability partner can help you as much as being brutally honest about yourself. Now, there's a book titled Radical Honesty. You might want to check it out. But no external party knows all the facts about you, your values, your dreams, and even the partners you get will not know all of these things. So without that layer of self-honesty and a deep desire to grow, you won't be able to get so far, even if you have someone constantly checking up on you to see your progress, what you're doing. Honesty about your strengths, your weaknesses, your growth areas, this will help you. And instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, you can reframe it to think about, I haven't developed this skill yet, but I can improve. And that's the growth mindset 101 you need to keep in mind. Part 3 of this process is to build habits that reinforce your confidence. Build confidence through your daily wins, because regardless of where you are in life and where you want and what you want to do, you can achieve your best by going with small daily habits. It doesn't even have to be big, but when these compound daily, they create a lot of self-trust. Start your day with intentional actions, something as simple as journaling, exercising, or even just creating a short list of priorities you need to cover during the day. There are so many daily routines out there, so you can check them out. But the key here is to celebrate these little wins, right? If you do something in line with what you wanted to do in the day, take a break, celebrate it, and track integrity through self-reflection daily. At the end of each day, you want to reflect on whether you live according to your values, and you can ask yourself questions like, what actions today align with my values? Where did I fall short? And most importantly, how can I improve? Remember, that's growth mindset 101. This habit actually ensures accountability and honesty. Without these reflections, you wouldn't be able to track anything. You wouldn't be able to know where you are missing out and where you need to be more stringent on what you're doing. So build an identity of integrity. Confidence comes from seeing yourself as someone who keeps promises to themselves. So set realistic goals that reinforce your values and set your mind to achieve them consistently. The SMART framework is actually a very good way to come up with the goals, either daily or even long term. If resilience is a value, commit to bouncing back after failures and even reframing mistakes as learning opportunities to be able to appreciate every failure and equating failure to learning. And this is one of the best mind hacks, honestly, you can actually perform on yourself. Little mindset just like these are going to get you farther than any other big step. Let's talk about overcoming self-doubt with confidence hacks. These are hacks, but they are not going to work as fast as most hacks out there. But let's see, focus on process, not outcomes. Confidence grows when you take pride in the little efforts, not just the big results. The journey is what makes the end worthwhile. We often forget that, right? Because we just want to make so much money. But yeah, you need to enjoy the journey while you try to achieve the big goals. So shift your focus from that path of perfection to making simple, consistent progress, especially aligned with your values. If you want to start writing, stop comparing yourself to all those great writers out there, thinking about millions of readers they have, and all of that. Just enjoy polished writing every day, right? Focus internally, focus on what you can do. What's your goal? Write daily, to write weekly, or even to write monthly. Take your pick and just stick to it. As you mature as a writer, you can create goals that are more results oriented, and instead of just okay, I have to do this daily. You can now focus on results. Let me achieve 1,000 views a day. But to start with, always go with the amount of efforts you want to put in so you feel confident enough in your skills that you can actually control the results you are going to get. So that your frame of expectation isn't harshly crushed by the brutality of reality, because reality can be brutal. When you set out to get 1,000 readers in one day, I find out that not even one person took the time to read your work, which you might have taken hours to create. That's going to be brutal, and you need to be prepared for it, at least knowing that your skill level matches. Hack number 2, reframe comparison as inspiration. We pick inspiration from around us. There are so many things you can get inspiration from creators we admire, mentors, even random things we see. Instead of comparing yourself to others, why don't you use these sources as motivation? Ask yourself, what habits help them to succeed? How can you adopt these habits while staying true to your own values? Because you don't want to dilute what you are or who you are. Confidence isn't about being better than others, but rather about being better than you were yesterday, right? So you want to, as a third hack, you want to create a feedback loop of integrity. The beauty of this system is that your confidence grows when your actions align with your values over time. This creates a positive feedback loop from actions from the honest actions that you create to integrity, to self-esteem, to confidence. And the more actions you take, the more this loop works and you are able to become more confident. Now, how do you build long-term confidence? Number one, focus on being patient with the process, because building true confidence and integrity takes time, but it's not a forever thing. View your journey as a long-term investment in yourself and not just like a quick fix, because quick fixes are rarely permanent. Number two, anchor confidence in who you are and not necessarily what you do. Recognize that your worth isn't really tied to achievements, but to the person that you become. Confidence actually thrives when you act in alignment with your values, not when external results aren't even immediate, because sometimes they won't be. Positive identity. The next hack is to reinforce positive identity. Now, what do I mean by this? You can really just tell yourself that, okay, I'm someone who lives honestly. I stay disciplined, I learn and I grow daily. And these are things you focus on as a person. You're not looking for very big things, but you're someone who learns and grows every day. Now, this has all been a very long video. If you've come this far, all I need you to know is that self-doubt is not a sign of failure, but actually an opportunity to grow and to realign your life with your goals. It is a sign of a gap. Unfortunately, you can close that gap and never have to doubt yourself. Building confidence through self-esteem hacking is about consistently living with integrity and reinforcing those positive habits. Trust yourself by staying true to your values and let your actions reflect the person you aspire to be.